is up? What is up? I know it's kind of an odd time for me to go live. I just been, yeah. Anyway, so say hi to everybody real fast first. Julie Watson, what's up? Melissa, Tab P. You know what? Audio okay, guys? Last couple times I screwed it all up, but I don't think I did this time, so. Give me an audio check, somebody. Okay, cool, thanks. Sorry I have to do that. Just went, last couple videos I forgot to turn my mic back on, and yeah. So anyway, so let me say hi. Julie, Melissa, Tab P, hope you're feeling better, girl. Heather, Yoga, what's up? Amy, George, good to see you, bud. IG, what's happening? Good to see you. Kim Possible, Tam Tam, Douglas D, good to see you, man. Ain't seen you in a minute. Yep, long time no see. Glad you're here, man. George again, Mary, Marcella, Joni, Randy, Grandma JJ, hey. Julie Watson again, she was number 1 in here. Kiwi, Stefan, Shelly, Red Dragon, Barbara, what's up? Rose. Okay, guys. I wish I could say hi to everybody. I know I say that about every video, but it is what it is, you know. So, yeah. Oh, you're welcome, guys. I wish I could shout everybody out. I really do. I appreciate you guys so much. While I'm talking about that for a second, I'll go ahead and drop this in there, too. There's my PayPal link. If you guys want to support me there, you can. If not, no biggie. I'm just putting it out there. It's there. It's in my description box too. It's in the P.O. box. My P.O. box is in the description box too if you want to help me out there. Always appreciated. Never expected. So just know that. Anybody that's been with me for a minute knows the whole deal behind all that anyway. I didn't even do any of that until like 2 or 3 months ago. So, but anyway, let's get into the content here. Obviously, you read on my thumbnail, solar tornado. What I'll do here real quick is I'll show you exactly what that is first before we get into this. What it is, guys, I've talked about solar tornadoes before. This one is big. Okay, this is a big one. And it's turning Earth facing. And that's why I'm talking about it. Okay? Sometimes they release off, sometimes they don't. But with it facing us right now, if it does release, it would be in a position to where it could hit us. Okay? It's Earth facing, which is, always the danger zone that we talk about. And it's right here. Now, I want to give you guys a little perspective here of what we're looking at. But if you guys see my thumbnail, that is a 2012 photo from NASA. This is what we see currently. It's almost like a perfect match. And why I'm saying that is because we have a sunspot right here too. And in my thumbnail, the same thing happened. Very large. What this is, guys, it's essentially a filament. It is a filament, okay? And I know that it looks like it's rotating, but it's not. Let me explain, okay? So what you're looking at, if you guys have ever heard me describe a filament before, just like in an incandescent light bulb, right? When they snap, they blow off. Now, that's when the light bulb would go out. But this is a magnetic connection line. And what you're actually seeing is the charged particles traveling up that line. They're not actually swirling. The magnetic connection line itself is actually in that shape. Okay? That's what you're actually seeing. So the plasma from the sun, which is charged particles, charged gas, that's what plasma is going up and down this magnetic connection line. It's not blowing around like we would, a tornado is formed by horizontal rolling clouds that get forced vertical here on our planet. Okay? This is nothing like that. The physics of this is totally different. So I want you guys to understand that first and foremost, because essentially what we're talking about here is a filament. It's not so much the difference of calling it a tornado, or they call them solar vortexes. A lot of different, there's a lot of different terminology people use. But what I'm talking about this one is, you can see how big this one is. And it's lifting off. It's standing straight up off of the sun. So I'll come back to this in just a second, but I just wanted to show you guys that since it was in my thumbnail. The Schumann here, guys, obviously, it's active right now. There's not a, this is obviously in the past. This is kind of where we're at right now. There is a little spiking going on now. It's almost like if we were to go back and look at the previous few days before this bigger spike, it's like it was a very consistent uptick to this point, and now it seems as though it's ticking back down, almost like a hum of something and back down. Now, what could cause that? Well, a coronal hole stream would cause that. Now, when we look at this and we're trying to, can the sun cause this? This is what, the biggest question a lot of people have. Yes, it can. And I think most people agree to that. But the mistake that people make is this. Let me show you. This right here, well, I'll just go to this one because this is easy enough to show. Okay, the solar wind stream we just got, and it put us into storm level. That hole is over here. It's actually crested off. It's not even Earth facing anymore. My point is that when you see this, you can't go back and look at the sun on this day for a coronal hole stream or a CME, because it takes a CME or a coronal hole stream. If it was right here in front of us, it takes us 3 days. So what you got to do is you got to know where that coronal hole was. And if it's over here, then you could say, yeah, that coronal hole stream right there probably produced this. You have to integrate that lag. Okay? And that's the mistake I see a lot of people doing. What they're going to do is they're going to go, they're going to look at this, and then they're going to go type in the date over here on ISWA and assume that because there is no coronal hole right here, that this is not being caused by the sun. That's not true. You can't do it that way. You have to integrate that lag, because it takes time for that coronal hole stream to get here, or a CME. And like I said before, it takes really anywhere between 2.5 to 5 days typically for that stuff to get here, depending on how fast it's moving. So you can't just directly go back to SDO or whatever, or SOHO, whatever you're wanting to use to look at a coronal hole, and compare it to this exactly on that time. You can't do it. You have to integrate how long it took it to get here. So, hey Chris, what's up, bud? Virgo, good to see you. Christine, what's happening? So I hope you guys understand that. I know most of you probably already knew that, but I wanted to clarify that because some people might get confused on that a little bit. Hopefully I explained that good enough. So when we're looking at this and we see this spike, well, essentially you should go back to the sun and take this date back. See, watch that. Well, I guess I could do it right now. Let's take this date and we're going to go back to, let's just go back to the 7th and see what we see. We're going to let it load. My guess is what you're going to see is that coronal hole is going to be about right here. There's going to be a coronal hole right in this area probably. And I showed it to you guys, the past few videos. That's what I was showing you guys. I'm sorry I didn't have that loaded up to begin with, but I want to be able to, really show you guys. Now, see, look. See, here's those coronal holes. So that was on the 5th. That's the 6th. Okay, see this hole right there? If we back it up even more, so what I'm saying is that right there could have caused this. So that's kind of what I'm saying. Hey, is Ron in here? Good to see you, Ron, if you're in here, buddy. Where's he at? Huh, didn't see him. Well, if you're in there, Ron, good to see you, bud. Hey, Sid, what's up, man? Bobby, good to see you. Chewy, what's happening? Jacqueline, good to see you over here too. Dana, good to see y'all. Oh, there you are. How you doing, bud? Good to see you, man. If you guys don't know who Ron is, Emergency Management Associates. You guys, I show you guys his channel often. Please go over there and check it out. Ron, you can drop your link in there if you want, man. He can, you know, he's able to read the seismographs. Him and Terry Rumpel are really good at that. And what the advantage we get from that is we don't have to actually trust what we see when we go look at this. Okay, because so many of us don't understand earthquakes to the level that he does, him and Terry. And Ricky does too, and IG, she's there too. We have to understand that sometimes, whether they're getting it wrong or whether they're doing what they do, I'm not going to go there. But you know what I'm talking about. Terry and Ron, they really do a really good job of explaining how they look at these seismographs, and they're talking about volcanisms, steam being released, magma movement, all that stuff. They integrate all that, and they explain why we see earthquakes in the places that we do. And what we see as reported typically is usually stronger. So I would encourage you guys to go over there. Plus, they talk about preparedness stuff, which I think is very important. So, okay, so back to the Schumann. Anyway, there you go. So that's what we have to do. Now with the Schumann, guys, you can look at this, and obviously that's a big spike. So I don't really got to say much more about that. If we're going to see, you know, ringing in your ears, feeling off, all that kind of stuff, there you go, right? Hey, Jennifer, what's happening? RS5150, good to see you guys. Virgo. Yeah, I wasn't able to make it over to Mark's tonight. I'm not sure if he's still on or not. I'm imagining you guys probably hopped over here after Mark got... I'm not sure if he's still on. But, yeah, I kind of missed his show tonight. I hate missing his shows. I really do. I had some stuff going on. I couldn't do my show right now in the time that I tried to, so I could try to bring everybody over there. But, so, anyway, back to the solar vortex. Back to the solar vortex conversation. So what we'll do is we'll go here to Space Weather Prediction Center. This is NOAA. And again, guys, no flaring going on. That's what we look at here. Radiation storms, nothing going on there. Geomagnetic activity, we've fallen into the basement, okay? If this continues for another 12 hours or so, they will actually issue a cosmic ray alert. That just means that cosmic rays are getting in easier, and they can affect people that fly, especially up higher latitudes towards the poles. People that fly often, people that are pregnant flying need to pay attention to that. It's essentially like getting an x-ray. Okay, there's a certain dosage of radiation that you experience, and the higher up you go and the higher latitude you get towards the poles, the more that it affects you. So the more dosage you get. And the reason being is because we know that x-rays and all the charged particles and stuff, they come in easier on the poles. So that's why. The path there is of less resistance. And we have to think of that stuff, electricity, much like we think of water. Water will find the path of least resistance. You could have a floor crack, a very small floor crack, right next to a puddle of water. And you can actually have a bigger floor crack that's further away, and the water will go to the one that's further away just because it's an easier way to travel, even though the smaller one was closer. It's kind of crazy, but that's how it works, and electricity does the same thing. Okay, electricity is essentially just the movement of electrons from one atom to another, one particle to another, all that. You know, we can go into all that science if we wanted to, but most of us understand that, especially here talking about charged particles, because that's what we're talking about. We're talking about the negative and the positive of those charged particles following that magnetic connection line between us and the sun. Okay, that's what we're talking about when we're talking about solar wind. But here's GOES right now. Obviously, you guys can see how big this is, right? I mean, this is huge. This thing is big. It's very, very long. And you can see it kind of roping out a little bit out here. Now, when I see it start doing things like this, and with it being, Earth facing, if this thing was to pop off here, we would have a really good chance of getting hit by this thing. Now, we wouldn't know how strong it would be. We wouldn't know how long it would be till it gets here. But we could definitely say that it's probably going to come our direction. And within the next 3 to 5 days, we would definitely probably see some effects from it. Anytime we get things that are equatorial, which means they are around the equator of the sun, because the Earth is kind of like right here. Where's the base of this filament? It's right there. Not out here. This little dark shadow is the filament. Okay, so this is the solar vortex. They call it vortex for obvious reasons. Look at it. It looks like a tornado. Also, this thing is producing solar rain. Let me tell you what that is. Actually, before we do that, I actually pulled this up right here. I can drop this link into the chat. Oops. This is a link that will tell you, explain to you what a solar tornado is, okay, or a solar vortex, whatever we're talking about here, right? So that link will take you to an article, and it'll tell you exactly what you're looking at there and how they're formed and all that kind of stuff. I've went over that before. That's why I'm not going to go over it right now. But solar rain. Now, solar rain's cool, okay? I just have to say it. It's pretty cool. And I'll show you what I'm talking about. I've shown it to you guys before, but I just think it's cool, and I think it's, it's good information to know what it actually is. So for that, we usually go here, because you'll see it, you can see it in all angstroms, typically. And when we're talking about angstroms, it's just the level of the light spectrum that we're looking through. They put these filters, they use the filters of a specific part of our light spectrum so we can see different things. Our eyes cannot see this 304. So they have to assign this a color, and that's how we're able to see it. And that's why we use the filters, because we can see things we wouldn't typically see. Because our visible part that our eyes can see of the light spectrum is extremely small. Okay, I know a lot of people don't know that, but it's the truth. There are so many things that happen around us that we just simply can't physically see with our eyes. And that's why the technology is good, in that aspect. But you can see the filament here. Okay, so I'm going to put it in, I'm going to play it, and you're going to see solar rain. Okay, you see all this stuff right here? I'm going to zoom in a little bit more. Okay, you see all that stuff falling back down to the sun? That's solar rain. Alright, and what that is it is that gas, that plasma, getting drawn back to the sun via a magnetic connection line. So, this is a very, very good example of how this all works. And I'm glad this is happening, because this is something that it helps people understand. But you can also see how people could think it was a tornado. Look, if you follow this connection line, it looks like it's spiraling. The magnetic line itself is in that shape. So that means that the particles will stay on that road, just like they do on the way here to Earth. So, this is a really good example of solar rain and a solar vortex at the same time. Now, I know that, the base is here. So if you look at this, guys, from here to here, I would say an Earth radius, I need to get a scale here, but it's about the size of my cursor. The size of the Earth. Even smaller, probably. So if you counted that up, that's a long filament. Alright? And why it's so visible right now, typically when they're on the front, we don't see them very well. All we see is this little, dark patch, shadow looking thing. And the reason is because the sun's the background that camouflages it. But if it's big enough, it's out over the edge here a little bit from our perspective, and the blackness of space becomes a very good contrast to see this thing. So this is just awesome to me. Now, again, if this thing was to blow off and it does hit us, it could it could give us some pretty decent geomagnetic conditions, depending on how violently it erupts. Because it's really, you know, even though it's a filament blowing off, it's still kind of like a CME because it's still plasma leaving the sun. So that's what we see. Look at all that rain right there at the end. I mean, it's just cool, you know. And again, they're using terms like solar rain and solar vortex because people can kind of visualize that, because we know what that is, right? When we talk about rain or a tornado. That's why they use these terms. They don't necessarily work the same physically, okay? And these definitely don't. Because there ain't no water here. We know that. So, you know, we got plasma raining back down to the sun. That's what we're looking at there. And it's traveling that magnetic connection line. So, I hope you guys understood that. And I really wanted you guys to understand that because it gives you a good base moving forward. Now that you know that, when I say, hey, we got this filament over here lifting off, you're going to know now that that's pretty much what you're seeing here. So when a CME blasts off of there, that's kind of the same thing. So I hope that helps people. So yeah. Shoo. Excuse me, man. So yeah, guys. So what I'm saying here, guys, with this one, we're gonna have to keep an eye on it because it is Earth facing. At any time, especially when these things are equatorial right here, if it blows off, it could come our direction very easily. I mean, it would be coming our general direction anyway at this point if it was to, you know, snap off of there. It just, you couldn't tell right away probably whether or not it was going to get us, but we're just going to keep our eye on it, and that's, you know, it's kind of why I brought it up. Okay, so back to the Space Weather Prediction Center. You can see here on the ACE data, things are kind of fluctuating right now. This is kind of odd, and this is actual readings because I went and looked at some of the models, and stuff is moving around. Hey, Axe, what's up, buddy? Hey, Johnny, what's happening? Victoria, good to see you. Jason, what's up? But anyway, yeah, so you got density here in readings of up to 100. Now, I'm not sure if that's correct or not. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over here to the Australian model. And this right here is the density. This is the wind speed. Now, remember, normal solar wind speed is between 3 and 500 kilometers a second. Normal density is 4. So anything outside of that would be not normal, right? And it could cause us issues or whatever. Now, the BZ, we look for -6 and lower. I use the word lower, but it's really more. I'm not going to go into the detail of that. But -6, in our minds, you know, you could think of -7 would be worse. Or more apt. It would put us at an angle that the solar wind could come in easier. So we look for -6 on the BZ. That's kind of the number we look for. So let's play this and see what we get. I'm not sure what we're going to get. So it's staying pretty consistent right here on the 9th. Now I think that fluctuation I was showing you, I think it was either late in the day on the 9th into the 10th. So we'll see what we got here. Doesn't look like it's moving much there. Actually looks like it's kind of falling pretty low. So let's look at the 10th and see if we get anything there. Now, I'm not seeing nothing up towards no 100. So what I'm saying here, and this is why I'm showing you guys, that reading is probably not correct. Okay, I don't know why the ACE is interpreting that at that. They might be having some issues, but nothing really kind of raised there. But I went and looked at this too. And this thing actually is moving. Okay, we're getting density changes, we're getting pressure changes, and speed changes. So here's your density, and you're seeing it, like I said, you're getting, typically when you see a white wave come from the left and go to the right, that means that that's probably a higher wind speed. Okay, this is, and the density gets lower with that. Okay, because it's picking it up and carrying some of those particles away. So white on this graph is low density. Dark blue is high. Now at the end, it gets high again out here. And that's typical. That's what we usually see. So if we go up here and look at the speed, my guess is here on the front end of it, you're going to see some movement here. Yep, seeing a little blast right there. So I mean, it's nothing big, but this is still not showing me this or this. Okay, so I don't know if ACE is having some issues here. My guess is they are, and it's just giving us some incorrect data right here. You know, because look, all of it was really, really consistent, and then it went down for its line of sight that we see all the time. And then when it came back up, it was doing all this fluctuation stuff. So I question sometimes whether or not when it first comes back up, if it gives us good readings. But it probably does, but I think the first couple data points is kind of wrong, but not typically out this far. So I don't know what's going on with this right now. Even the BZ is all chopped up. See this? If you look up here, this is really, really consistent. So this is telling me that they're having issues with their tool. So, not sure, but that's what I'm seeing there. Again, this is NOAA's prediction model. You can see here, this is the conditions at Earth for the next 5 days. Nothing much coming at us, it says. We can also look at that up here with their predictions here. They're predicting really low geomagnetic conditions. Now, what I want to say is that it can all change in 2 seconds if this thing blows off. Okay? And then it would be 3 days from when that blows off when we would be expecting to see something. So, but yeah. So that's kind of what I would say there. So let's go check out something else here. And that would be seeds. Now seeds isn't updating right here for some reason. We can still get to the data over here on ISWA. Let me go back to it right here. This is what you're going to see on seeds anyway. It's just we're not going to get the black and white coronagraph. So I'm going to push play here. You're not going to see a whole lot, guys. Not much is going on. We did have a CME, but it blew off the backside. Okay, you seeing something blowing off here a little bit. This is from our perspective. Okay, now this stereo A is looking basically at the sun from the side. Earth would be over here. The satellite would be looking here. So if I take this and I move it forward to current date, you see where that's blowing off at? That's going to the left from a side view. So that's definitely going out the back, and that's probably what you're seeing here. Maybe even up here, okay? That's just, you know, it's just what I've experienced in the past. You see this right here. Even though it looks like it's going to the right, it could still be this backside ejection. Okay? So nothing's really showing coming our way yet. And that's good. You know, we don't want big ones, you know. But like I said, here's that filament again. So we have to keep that in mind. There was something magnetically I want to show you guys. Okay? This is something I've not seen before. And I've been looking at these graphs for a long time. Okay? I'm not sure what to make of this particular signature that I'm seeing on this thing. But I'm going to show it to you, and you guys, you know, go look at it for yourself and make up your own mind. But this is current right here. And you're seeing little, you know, blast here and there. Remember, the sun's off to the right on this one. And when we do get hit from the sun, we expect some of this stuff, okay? It would be ignorant to think that that's not what would happen, right? So we see that, and then we keep moving forward, and it's not really like crazy stupid looking, right? But here, this, and I know this is going to be kind of me getting kind of like down in specifics here, but hang in there with me for a second, okay? Here's the sun blowing stuff from right to left. Typically things should be moving right to left, and yes, some backside pressure is expected, but we shouldn't see like tons of it all the time like we have been. Now if you look at the direction of these things, you see how this right here is curved? So I'm going to take this back, and I want to show you. Now look at this. These are straight. So something had to, something was going on here that I've not seen before. Just going to take it like this, and this is yesterday's, okay? I seen it yesterday, and I didn't do a video till too late. So anyway, you see it do that. Now, but you're not seeing our bow shock bend in. So I'm not sure what to think of this particular signature. Now, if I go forward, check out what happens. That right there. Okay, now let me explain to you what I'm looking at. It looks like we're getting hit from the front, from the sun, from solar wind or whatever. And obviously our magnetic field pushes back. But you get two half circles here. So, if our bow shock's here and we're here, we're pushing this way, right? So why is it pushing towards the sun here? It's really odd. So let me, I'll back it up some and you guys can see it. See what happens here. So I'll go forward now. And you see it kind of take that shape. And then you see that. So, and then then watch what happens. This is what I'm talking about here. We got the curve here. We go forward. Remember, things should be moving from right to left on this one, not left to right. Thanks, John. Appreciate that, bud. So when we see this, and watch, and so I'm gonna go forward. Okay, right here, you see this. See the difference in color? That means we just got hit. Watch. Okay, so when we get hit, we're pushing, we get compressed, right? And you see this. So something's pushing against here, and then you can clearly see it push our bow shock this way. Like it was helping us deflect that or something. I don't know what is going on there. But it pushed back out and it did this, and then it went kind of back to normal. Because, now we're back to straight lines. Our magnetics are kind of tilted right here, which happens quite a bit. It's not nothing out of the ordinary. We see that. That's been that way since day one. But, yeah, I don't know what caused that signature, and then we get hit from the sun like that, and then you see that. Really everything should be moving that way. There is a rebound effect that we do get, but we shouldn't be seeing it in that massive amount, I wouldn't think. Just saying, it's just an observation that I made. I'm not trying to make no claims of anything or anything like that, because honestly, I don't know what caused that. And again, I have to say, there's a lot of theories out there, and there's a lot of good ideas of what's going on there. Okay, lots of them. So I would suggest everybody go research that on their own and look at that, because that's what you're going to see. You're going to see different opinions. You're going to see different theories, and it's been my experience that almost every one of them that talks about this kind of stuff has some good points. Where do you fall on what you believe? And I think that's up for you guys to make up for yourself. You know what I mean? I don't want to tell you guys what to think. So, my opinion is with that right there, I don't think that that's normal, if I have to be honest. I wouldn't think that something would, be curving the wrong way, pushing against the solar wind. I just don't understand why that would be happening. Plus, if you look here, you can still see the, the weak spot here in the front. That's still evident. And, we can go back here and kind of see the same thing. You still see weak spots and stuff out here in the front. Sometimes they move around over here. We've seen it down here. So, yeah. Here's the Aurora. Nothing going on here. Okay, so this is another reason why I think the ACE data is incorrect right now, because we're not seeing any kind of massive aurora. If we had a density reading of 100, we would be seeing probably extreme amounts of aurora. Okay, and we're just not seeing that. So I do think that ACE data is incorrect right now. I don't know why, but it just is, I guess. Here's the geoelectric field model. Again, this is space weather's effect on our electrical grid system. Unnatural electrical components. So what are you seeing here? You're seeing, just little puffs of blast or whatever you want to call them here. Nothing big, okay? Nothing too exciting to see here. So I'm not going to waste your time with that. Spaceweather.com, noctilucent clouds, just to keep you updated on this. Here you go. That's what we got right now. Noctilucent clouds is water vapor that freezes around meteor dust that's really high in our atmosphere. It happens in the summertime of each hemisphere. Okay? So right now it's happening in the south because the southern hemisphere is in summertime. Northern hemisphere, wintertime. And we always have to say that, remember, these things were 2 weeks late, plus they were seeing them too far north, way more than what we should have been. Okay? I'm going to show you guys this too. I'm going to point this out. This is a significant coronal hole developing right next to this filament. I meant to mention that when I was showing it to you guys. But this southern coronal hole is always there, but it does vary in size, and I've seen it actually go up and kind of connect with the northern one. I've shown you guys humongous coronal holes before. So that's what you see there, and it's pushing up to where it looks to me like it is going to. We're going to connect to it, and we're probably going to get some solar wind from it. We do have some smaller patchy ones going on anyway, which means we'll get little bursts of increased solar wind. That's all that means. Typically it doesn't do much when we see this patchy stuff. But given that we have already got some geomagnetism that's been hanging around for a minute, it looks like it's kind of dispersed because we're way low here, but that can be deceiving sometimes. Okay? I do think that we probably still have some of that hanging around, so it's going to make it easier for it to push us up into some more, possibly geomagnetic storm stuff. Okay, so we'll go down here. Now the fireball report's 11. That's really typical. It's kind of normal. That's like a normal amount that we would typically see. We've seen these into the 200s before, especially when we're in meteor showers. Near Earth objects, remember that this is very, very, how can I put this? They put a lot of pressure on these guys to try to figure out what's all coming at us, and they just simply can't do it. Okay, as far as I know, ever since 2014, when the Southern Hemisphere telescopes got defunded, I think it was an Australian outfit, that was trying to help with these near-Earth objects, trying to look at the sky looking for asteroids and stuff. They got defunded. So now we've only got, we got one agency doing it right now. I think they got 3 big telescopes, if I'm correct. I think that's what it is. See you, Dana. Hey, Steve. But that's why sometimes you'll see them and they'll miss them. There'll be a couple days past the day and they'll add them to this. Okay, these are near Earth objects, and they measure them by lunar distance, LD. Okay, that's the distance between us and the moon. So that's kind of what we need to keep in mind when we're looking at this. Again, I think this one was just added. Okay, because it was discovered in 2021. How can we check that? Well, what we can do, you can go up here on spaceweather.com, and please go over here and give these guys some love because they do some great work. You can simply go up here and change the day. So let's go back 2 days. Let's go back to the 8th, hit view, and then we'll be able to see what the near Earth objects were on the 8th, and that one was there. So maybe they seen it a few days ago. I don't know. I don't remember seeing that one in particular, but it's possible it could have been there. I don't know. I could have just missed it. Let me go down here. I took it back to the 5th. Yeah, nothing there on the 11th on the 5th. So it's been recently discovered. It looks like it was discovered before it got here, but it was close when they did. So that's, you know, and it's to be expected, guys. They're not going to catch all of it. I'm sorry, they're just not. Actually, they're talking about what I was talking about here too, looks like. But this is probably going to turn into an official sunspot. Also, this right here, these are cool always. This was an unexpected burst of Aurora. Okay, the solar storm was over, and then, you know, we got another burst of something, and this was in England, I believe. Look at that. Could you imagine looking up in your skies seeing that? He says, incredible shapes of Aurora I have never seen before, more than 1,000 nights of experience. By Marcus Varick. This is on February 8th. That's awesome, isn't it? That's what I'm saying, guys. You guys need to go give these guys some love, because they do a great job over here. I just think that these are cool. That was an awesome capture. So for somebody that's been outside 1,000 or more nights looking at Aurora, and for them to never have seen these kinds of things, that's saying something. Okay? So that's kind of what I would say there, you know. Hey, Rebel, what's up? Axe, my man. Cindy, Patrick, Felicia. Steve Brady's in here, that's right. G513, Christine, George. Hello, guys. Dillard. So, yeah, guys, I mean, I don't, you know, I just, none of this was expected. And it's something we would, you know, we can expect the unexpected sometimes. If that makes any sense to you. The only thing, you know, for me, the only thing changing is everything's changing, right? Ain't that how the country song goes? So, yeah, thanks, Tab. I appreciate that, dropping their link in there. I really do. I appreciate that, guys. Tab needs prayers, too. Keith and Queen Brat need prayers. There's a lot of people that need prayers, guys. So, you know, get on them knees. Help everybody out. You know what I'm saying? All right, so earthquakes. Now, I have to say straight up off the bat that this doesn't look to be very active right now at this second. We had some activity, and the one I'm going to point out is this one. That's a 4.0 in New Mexico. That's a fairly big one for that area. All right, we see them there sometimes. It's not unusual to actually see them in that position all that much. Hey, Cindy, good to see you. Love back to you guys. Love back to you, for sure. So, yeah, guys, I mean, I don't... Yeah. That's just it's a decent-sized earthquake. So, let me turn on all earthquakes, and we'll see what we got here in our area, anyway. You can definitely see how more of them showed up. I mean, that's a given. All right. Now, there's another subject here I'm going to touch on real quick. And I'm just going to touch on it because there's going to be so much conversation around this. It's going to be ridiculous. Okay? What you say, Steve? Hearts? Was that an accident? Had to be an accident. Somebody erased hearts on accident. Big buffer. Did you buffer, Cindy? Sorry, did anybody else buffer? Oh, is it located on the Texas side? Okay. Yeah, just right there on the border. Alright, cool. Sorry you buffered there, Cindy. But, this subject, like I said, I'm going to show you guys this article. And you guys probably know I'm getting ready to show you. Because it's hitting all over. It's went viral. It's the two moon thing. Okay? Over in Dubai. Now, I mean, this hit the internet and everybody just went crazy over it. Not just people in our community, but I mean around the world. Now, here's the thing. This is what it was. This is what it actually looked like to these people on the ground. Could you imagine walking outside and looking up and seeing that? You should probably go to the desert, get down on one knee, and like ponder like you're thinking like Luke Skywalker, because that's what that looks like. But what I'm saying here is that they say they intentionally did not tell everybody so it would cause a shock and it would go out throughout the whole planet. It would go viral just like it did. Okay? Now, you know, I'm not going to tell you guys what to believe on that. I'm just telling you what I'm hearing and what I'm seeing. Now, I do know that they have technology, okay, that they can do this. This, you know, they're saying this was a projection. And this is, they say it's new technology for the EAU, or UAE, whatever this is. Right? UAE. Now, again, they say they intentionally did not tell the public so the public would run with this so they could get this to show the world that they got this technology now. So what you're looking at, these are two cranes. And they're saying that there's like a screen right here in the front. And somehow, they don't see it at night or whatever. And this is being projected up there. Okay? Now, again, let me say this. I do know, now I even talked about this before. Florida Maquis, he did a video on this, talking about the technology that they have. There's patents and stuff, even with our military. They can use lasers to cloak aircraft. Or even make things appear. Okay, it's a known technology, and they're getting better at it. So I'm wondering if this isn't something similar. Okay, you know, if it is something that's legit of what they're saying here. Regardless of what you think, if it's legit or not, it is very interesting. I would suggest anybody and everybody to go look at this. And matter of fact, I'll put the... And there's going to be a bunch of videos on this. I guarantee it. Okay? I've already seen a few of them. And I don't know who's right. I don't know who's correct. I really don't. I can just tell you that I know that our military does have some of this technology. And they've, you know, been using some of it. They figured out how to actually, like, bend light with lasers. And I don't want to get too technical here. But the lasers that they're using are very high speed, number one. Number two, they are not part of our light spectrum. We can't see them with our eyes. Okay? So that's just kind of what it is, you know. It's just kind of, again, and I know that there's going to be a vast array of opinions on what this is. All right? So I'm just going to leave it at that. Now, I will say this. Okay, what you're looking at here are exact duplicates of the moons on Mars. Okay, so I say that just because that, you know, if they are using technology and they chose those two moons, and they say they use these because of the spacecraft and the mission that got launched to go to Mars. This is what they're saying. Okay, this is, you guys can go read this. It's here, and like I said, there's going to be a bunch of different things, but this particular animation or this particular capture here, and you can go look at any of them. They all look the same, and you go compare them to the moons of Mars. Just do yourself a favor and go do that, at least. And then make your decision on what you think this actually is. Okay? Read the articles. You're gonna do your own research and stuff on this. I'm not gonna tell people what to think on this. Okay? I know we have technology like that, but again, I don't say anything's 100%. You guys know that. Yeah, I know. It kind of looks like that, doesn't it? If you zoom in, you know, I guess the thing is, the people that were actually on the ground, the civilians and stuff that were here, which obviously wasn't a whole lot of them. You can see just by this that it's not really all that populated. But you can also see out here, see the brightness. What would that mean at night? That would mean there's some sort of a populated area over here with lights. So, again, it's hard to know what to believe anymore, guys. It really just is. I just don't even know where to go sometimes. And that's why sometimes I don't show you guys stuff like this, because it confuses me. So I don't want to come out here and just add to the confusion. But I'm talking about this one because everybody is already talking about this. So there you go. I just wanted to give you guys a link, and you guys can go look at all that. And hey, J-Man, what's up, man? Good to see you. So please go do that. Go look at all the information before you just jump off to some conclusion right away. And just look at it. Look at it as deep as you want. You don't have to look at it at all. I mean, you choose just not to even worry about it, and that's okay too. I just wanted to let everybody know, because there probably are a couple in here that probably didn't know that this was actually happening. But yeah, so but that's their explanation. And I know that it does seem a little funny when they don't say nothing to the public, and then they come out and say, "Well, we did that intentionally." It is kind of strange. Okay, I'll just leave it at that. It's interesting at the very least. So, all right. So, you guys got any questions for me? Maybe I can help you guys answer something here. Yeah, that was in Dubai. Yeah, I think so, Clarissa. That's possible for sure. You're welcome, Johnny. The black sun. Oh, guys, I'm not going to talk about that, okay? Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, they shut down a couple good satellites and telescopes and stuff. But remember that sometimes things just get past their lifespan. All right, just always keep that in mind. I'm not sure about the photon belt thing there, Clarissa. I will say this, that we are definitely moving into a if you go out and you start. Kinley, I'm going to pass on that, okay, just so you guys know. There's certain things that I'm not going to talk about because it would be disrespectful. So I couldn't say things that I wanted to say. I'll be breaking my own rules. So that's just what I'm going to leave it at that. But anyway, if you go out and you work your way into our solar system from the outside in, okay, think about this. We're talking about pole flip or whatever, or we're talking about anything that's going on around our planet, okay? What I will say is that you can look at like, well, they consider Pluto a dwarf planet now, but it lost like 30% of its atmosphere. Okay? And they thought it happened over a 3 to 5 year period. Yeah, Steven, please do me a favor, guys. Don't call nobody names. It's okay to have like disagreements and stuff, but please just be respectful. Okay? That's all. You can talk about whatever you want. Just please don't, call people names. That's not what we do. Okay, guys? But what I'll say here is that when stuff is moving in from you can track it. Pluto started doing its thing. Neptune started doing crazy things. And then Jupiter was doing some stuff. Mars, and you can work your way in. And I think that it's almost like, and it's magnetic stuff. Okay, just so you guys understand that. It's like we are going through an area of space that's slowly coming our direction. And, it's starting to affect all the planets in our solar system. Something that doesn't get talked about too often is the fact that even though our planets are being affected magnetically, A lot of people just go straight to the sun with that. Well, what if it's something else and it's getting ready to affect our sun magnetically? Yeah, Corky. Just like that. PX. Okay, stuff like that. So, yeah, you're right, Tab. And I don't think he meant it in like too bad there. I get it. So, yeah. Steven, it's okay, man. Don't be offended, okay? Please don't. It was nothing like that. It's just they're just following my chat rules. I don't want people saying anything about any other creator. They're not here to defend themselves, so I don't do that. So, yeah. Oh, you caught up, Cindy? Okay. So, yeah. So, if you're coming in from our solar system from outside in, and if it's coming from that direction, like from, outside of Pluto, that arena, we've seen Pluto lose its, 30% of its atmosphere. They thought it was, in a period of 3 to 5 years, but it was actually, 1 year. So, what's that mean? That means it happened faster than what they thought, so it had to be something different that caused it. Okay, it wasn't a slower type of working into things. It was like something happened, some sort of event, caused it to lose half of its, about 30% of its atmosphere in a year. We're not talking about a magnetic field. We're talking about its atmosphere. That's different. Okay, our atmosphere pretty much has, oxygen, nitrogen, all that stuff in it. We're talking about 30% of that gone on Pluto, whatever its atmosphere is made out of. So, and then we started seeing stuff happen on Uranus, Neptune. Was it Neptune that got flipped on its side? I can't remember which one of them got flipped on its side. It's just, and things started happening in sequential order from outside in. So what happens when it does reach us? If it is something to actually look at, I think it's a legitimate thing to consider. And what happened, and don't get me wrong, I think all the stuff that we've always talked about is here, a system, all that kind of stuff. But I also think that we're moving into other areas of space that could definitely be, affecting things. So that is my opinion. Now, again, what if most of us that go straight to the sun with all this stuff? What if the ones that aren't willing to open their mind enough to consider that maybe the magnetic disruption stuff that we're seeing isn't actually from the sun? And maybe something's affecting our sun, plus big stuff coming from other solar systems, cosmic stuff. What if all this happening at the same time? And that's just something I'm not trying to throw any kind of stupidness out there, because it does sound kind of crazy, okay? Because it does. Let's just be honest about it. It does. It sounds nuts. But, it is a thing that things do happen. We do go into different areas of space. So what's saying that we're not in that area of space now? Just because we don't want to believe it? You see what I'm getting at? And that's just what, that's my opinion, okay? Yeah, what doesn't sound crazy nowadays? Yeah, for sure. For sure. So, yeah. So, yeah, guys. So, I am going to go ahead and get off here, guys. We're just going to be kind of watching things, and I hope you guys... hope I was able to shed some light on that solar tornado for people that didn't know what that was. Cosmic rain. Yeah, exactly, Stephen. Hey, I hope you know that they weren't doing anything to single you out, man. They're just following my chat rules. That's all. And even for me, it's nothing personal. It's nothing like that. It's just, yeah, you probably heard what I said. So hopefully you're okay. I don't want to point anything out. You didn't really. Wasn't that bad what you said. I get it. I understand. Okay, cool. I just want to make sure. Just kind of let everybody know that my mods are just doing what I asked them to do. That's all. So, excuse me. And yeah, I mean, and again, guys, there's going to be people out there that we're not always going to agree, okay? It's just that simple. It really is. Yeah, I know. I know you are, bud. Thank you. I just, you know, I hate that people have to go so mean and mad at people. You know what I mean? And, you know, it just is what it is. It doesn't provide a very good environment for any of us to try to learn. And that's why I try not to bring that here to you guys. I don't want you guys to have to feel like that. I don't want you guys to ever have to feel stupid. You can ask any question you want. I will never, ever laugh at you. Because I truly know that people are just want to know. That's just what it is. They're just trying to, you know, figure it out too. So I don't judge anybody, no matter who they are. Even if it's people I don't like, I still don't judge them. That's not my job. And, you know, and I think that that's what we have to do. And I think we're going to reach more people that way. I really do. You know, when somebody yells at me, I completely shut down right away. So I'm not going to do that to somebody. So, you know what I'm saying? Who can you send the video to, Carrie? See ya, Kenley. Glad you stopped by. That's right, eyes to the sky for sure. What kind of video you want to send? You can send it to me, Carrie, if you want. bluecool52@gmail. Here, I'll type it in there. There's my email. If you want to send it to me, I'll take a look at it. Whatever it is. Cool. 100-pound hell? Man, I'm running. Wow. Hey, Toluca, what's up? Alright, guys. I am going to get off here, guys. So, I hope you guys have a good beginning of your week and all that. And I hope everybody stays safe. God bless. Yahusha saves, and you can drink this Kool-Aid.